Boom! What an introduction. That's great. Hey, everyone. Welcome to Get More Done this week. Great to see you here. Do me a favor, make sure your cameras are on. I'm going to switch things around so that I can see you instead of just my own face. I'm so handsome, but I do like to see other people here. All right, we got a bunch of people here. We got more coming in. This is super exciting, and we are recording this for the future as well. Great to see everyone. Danielle, hello. Jocelyn, hello. We've got Art, Eagle, Justin Pryor, not too far away from me. I think I can see your house from over here. No, just kidding. You're not quite that close. You're not quite that close. Judy, great to see you. How's that book coming? Give me a thumbs up if that book is coming along. Okay, that's good. Okay, now we can continue with the masterclass. If the book was not coming along, we'd have to drop everything and work on your book. All right, we are here talking about how to get more done, this week. And the goal is to help you get more done this week than most people do in 3 months or more. Hey there, Mary. Thanks for coming on screen. Great to see you. Time is a limited resource. It is a limited resource. It evaporates moment by moment. And we can stay busy, but all of a sudden it's gone. And this minute is gone, and now the next minute, it just keeps marching forward. And so we're talking in this training about time management, about productivity, about how to get more done. There's pain when we don't get more done. There's pain when we're not managing our time. We're not wisely using the resource of time that we have available. There's pain because maybe we run out of time before we have to do something else. Or there's pain because we are working on one thing when we'd rather be doing something else if we don't balance that time out. And I remember when I was starting out in my consulting career years ago, and I was working on a project, and I needed to leave the project, get on an airplane, and fly to my in-laws for Christmas, because you can't miss Christmas with the in-laws, right? You can't, or you're in a lot of trouble. And so, you know, the taxi's on its way, the bags are packed and they're by the door, and I am still working. I'm trying to squeeze in that time. Why? Because perhaps like you, I was a business owner and my time is really precious, and I had 100 things to do in probably the amount of time that, you know, you'd only be able to get 10 things done. So I want you to know that if you're a business owner, if you're feeling overwhelmed, potentially burnt out, or you're feeling the burden of having so much to do and so little time to get it done, this is the right place for you. We are going to give you some strategies and some tools to help you, even if you're not a business owner. I know a couple of you are not business owners. That's okay. Being an executive or a leader in your community, in your family, you're still going to get some great strategies here. So I'm going to give you 5 strategies today. I may give a couple, there'll be bonuses, like some bonus strategies and ideas, and you'll be able to implement them right away. I'm going to give you like actionable steps to implement right away to get more done. So I'm curious, who here is a business owner? Oh, Mike is a step ahead of me. That's awesome. We're both aligned. You're thinking it. Who here is a business owner? Type in business owner in the chat bar if you are. I'd love to know. I know we have some. I know some aren't. That's totally cool either way. I'm just curious. And there's some of you that I don't know, and so it's good to know. We got a bunch of business owners, and I know we have a couple here who aren't, but you're still leaders, and you'll find a lot of great value here. So we're going to talk about 5 strategies to help you get more done this week. But first, I want to introduce myself, because you might have heard Kevin Harrington just a minute ago introducing Mike, and then suddenly I came on. I am not Mike at all. So let me introduce myself to you. I've got, well, I just open up a slide, and I'll have my slides ready to share the strategies and start by introducing myself. So sharing my screen. Yes, I want to share my screen. Go to my notes. We're talking about get more done this week. All right. So, I got 6 strategies. Yes, you'll get 6 strategies. You're going to get more than 6. You'll have, make sure you've got pen and paper because there is so much that we're going to be covering today. We'll be here for about 90 minutes, but if I go over a little bit, we may do that, but I'm a time management guy, so I'm going to do my best to keep it in the time that I promised. And this masterclass is sponsored by FuDog Store. This is the store that we have at FuDog. If you go to FuDogStore.com or use that QR code, you're going to get a whole bunch of amazing resources and tools, and even this really cool shirt that I'm wearing, and stickers and all kinds of really cool stuff. All right. And yeah, I don't want to forget about this. This is coming up in June. In July. We're in June right now. Business Rebels and Renegades Scaling Bootcamp. I am so excited about this training. It is all about scaling your business. So we have a bunch of business owners. You said who you are in the chat bar. If you want to grow your business, if you want to scale your business, this is the training to be on. The title, Business Rebels and Renegades Scaling Bootcamp, we're focused on people who feel like they are the rebels, the renegades, the mavericks, the misfits, the people who don't want to follow the same rules that the rest of the world is telling them to. They want to grow their own business on their own terms, and that's who the Business Rebels and Renegades are. And this Scaling Bootcamp is all about strategies and tools that will help you scale and grow your business. You'll notice the dates here. We've got 4 dates, July 11th, 18th, 25th, and August 1st. They're all Thursdays. And we've also got a bonus pre-event training that's happening on June 9th too. It's 2 to 6 Eastern. And the team has put, team, if you can throw it in the chat bar again. I saw you put it there before, but it scrolled up. There we go. There's the link for you. And on this training, while you were watching this thing, this masterclass, we also have a bonus 10% off. So if you are thinking about attending, this is a great time to register because you get 10% off. Megan, if you can throw that coupon code in there, and that will give you, there it is, Scaling 10, all caps, Scaling 10. So click on the link that Megan put up there, scalingbootcamp.eventbrite.com. Use Scaling 10 and you'll get 10% off of Business Rebels and Renegades. I'm so excited, and I know a bunch of you are coming, so I'm super excited about this. Don't miss out on the savings, and don't miss out on scaling your business. And what's neat is maybe you're feeling really busy. Maybe you're feeling really overwhelmed right now. You're like, how can I take on even more scaling strategies, even more growth strategies in my business? Well, that's why you're here. I'm going to show you how you're going to squeeze in more time, get more done, and I'm going to give you more time as my gift to you so you can come to the Business Rebels and Renegades Bootcamp, and you'll have time to learn and implement. All right. So quick disclaimer, you can read this, but this is not a business training. You can apply it to your business. You can apply it anywhere in your life. And you are responsible for your own massive success and growth in all areas. So who am I? Who am I? You might be wondering that. Sometimes I wonder that as well. No, I'm just kidding. I know exactly who I am. Who am I? I'm going to tell you a little bit about me because maybe you know me, and I know some of you do, but some of you don't know me, and you're wondering, who is this guy? Why is he talking? And what does he know about getting more done? So I want you to know, first of all, I'm not a productivity expert. And I don't want you coming here thinking that I am a productivity expert. I would say I am an execution expert, and there's a big difference. Productivity is just about doing more things in the period of time. I believe execution is a whole other level of strategy that you apply to time management and to getting more done. I think execution is like strategic productivity that gets more of the right things done at the right time. So how did I learn this? Okay, there are other productivity experts and gurus out there, and I think I don't know how they do what they do, but they just end up like consulting with like big CEOs. It's not what I do. all I did is I learned to grow my business. I rolled up my sleeves. I learned to grow my business just like you. I was at the kitchen table working late at night. I was, while I'm driving my car, I'm thinking about business things. I get up early in the morning, just like you, to work hard to provide for my family. And it was all about just getting as much done as I could in a limited amount of time, in the limited amount of resource time that I had. And in that sort of in the trenches effort, that is where I learned about strategic execution. That is what I want to share with you. So really quickly about me, I started in the world of finance. I don't know if you know that. I was a stockbroker. I got my MBA in business strategy. I worked at like banks like TD Waterhouse and some other banks and some credit unions. I worked at a big insurance company. And I was there during the 1999-2000 tech bubble. I don't know if anybody else was investing then, but I saw the tech bubble rise and rise and rise. And all you had to do if you wanted a big company in the tech industry was just put .com after your name, and all of a sudden your business valuations went up and everyone wanted to invest in you. And I saw it rise and rise. And then I was there on the days that everything turned from green to red and the stock started crashing. And I was in a call center taking stock orders at the time, and it was chaos. It was chaos. And so I was there when the tech bubble burst, and I decided I didn't want to spend my life in finance, and I wanted to move more into real estate investing. So I worked in the administrative wing of a developer. I even put on boots, and I was standing in mud with a laser guide while this guy with a bulldozer dug out subdivisions. I helped people flipping houses and buy and holds. Anyone here a real estate investor? Put real estate investor in the chat bar if you are. And along the way, I gathered up all of the business knowledge I had and all of the real estate investing knowledge I had and all of the marketing knowledge I had. And I built a marketing agency and a consulting agency for real estate investors. And I was the only marketing agency for real estate investors in the world. And so I built that up. I met a ton of real estate investors. If you're a real estate investor watching this, let me tell you that if you have ever worked with a guru or bought a training or read a real estate investing magazine, I was probably behind the scenes in that effort. I was probably someone who you probably read something I wrote, or you saw an ad that I created because that's what I specialized in. And but I was just like you. I was a business owner. I was a consultant. I was trading my time for hours. And I don't know about you, but I'd love to know in the chat bar if other business owners here feel like you're sometimes trading your time, your hours for dollars. You feel like you're trading your time for dollars. Does it feel like that sometimes? That you're just sitting there and you're like, okay, I gotta make more money. I gotta put in some more time, and I just need to grind out a little bit more work. So I felt that way. Yeah, as a consultant, I was selling my time. As a copywriter, I was selling my time. And anytime I wanted to make more money, I just need to somehow I'd have to find more time to get the job done. And so that is why I built the system that I'm about to show you to help me get more done in less time, because I realized that I didn't want to trade my hours for dollars. I didn't want to trade my time for money. What I wanted to do was scale. I wanted to decouple time from money so that I could spend a little bit of time and make a lot of money. Does that sound like something you want to do, is spend a little bit of time and make a lot of money? I hope so. And if not, maybe this is not the right training for you. But I think most people here want to spend a little bit of time and make a lot of money. And what I'm going to show you is the same tools and strategies that I implemented as a consultant years ago to help me do that. Then along the way, I got to meet Mike and Jennifer, and and as Mike exited company, we decided to start FuDog Group, and that is the organization you see here, and we help people with life, business, and wealth by design. We do that with resources and trainings and events, and this amazing Thursday call. These Thursday calls we're doing tomorrow. I'm so excited about them. So that is my life in a nutshell. I started out in finance, I did real estate. I'm now a co-founder of FuDog Group with my great friends, Mike and Jennifer. Why am I telling you all this? I'm telling you this because there is a spectrum of productivity. On the one side, there's the big organizations that are bloated and inefficient. They're the banks, they're the government, they're the institutions, the bureaucracies, the insurance companies. I've worked for them. If anybody's ever heard of the company SAP, it's a multinational tech company. I worked for them. If you ever heard of HP, Hewlett Packard, maybe you own their computer, I worked for them. I worked for insurance companies and banks, and I've seen bloated, inefficient, poor productivity. It was me doing the work, and I had 9 managers to report to in one place. They wanted me to write an email, and I would have to send this thing through 9 levels of management to get an email approved and on the way. That is so inefficient. But there's a spectrum, because probably most of us here are on the other side, and I've seen this side too, where we are working hard every day and every night, early mornings and late at night, maybe missing your kids' recitals or ball games because you are working so hard and you're just grinding it out. And you're hearing about how the hustle and the grind culture it's telling you that that's what you need to do as an entrepreneur and as a business owner. I don't believe that. I have seen both sides of the spectrum, from inefficient to working so hard. I've seen that, and I have been that, both sides of that spectrum. And I want to tell you that no matter where you are on that spectrum, there is a better way to execute, to manage your time, to get more done. So really briefly, I stepped into some success habits that I'm going to be sharing with you. These success habits help me go from confused. Oh, here, let me draw this out. From confused and figuring it out right here to I grew and I exited a marketing agency. I went from having no mentors to leverage expert advice, including the advice of Mike and Jennifer here, my great friends, business partners, and 2 people who inspire me and mentor me all the time. I went from having traditional ideas, I spelled that wrong, traditional ideas about success, to building FuDog Group and another company we own called Business Forge. I wanted to win on my own, but I burnt out trying. I'm curious to know how many of you feel like you are on your own right now as business owners. Put in the chat bar "own" if you do. I'm curious, because I wanted to succeed on my own, and I would sometimes hire someone, and I was never happy with their work. I was frustrated, and it came back on my shoulders. Yeah, I know. So we have some people here who are feeling the same way. I learned that partnerships help to accelerate my growth. And that's something we do at FuDog Group. That's not what this masterclass is about, but one of the things we do at FuDog Group is we partner with other business owners to help them grow, to help them succeed. And that was a big mental shift for me, a big success habit, to go from trying to do things on my own to partnering with the right people. And what I mentioned before, I was trading my time for dollars. But I've learned, let's kind of cut off here, but I've learned that I've learned success habits that help me build my best life, business, and wealth by design. And that is what we're going for here. It's not just about getting more done. It's about building your best life, business, and wealth by design. So just to wrap up about me, I am a business partner, of course, with Mike and Jennifer. Jennifer took this picture here, so she's not in it, but this is us on the beach in New Jersey. I'm a speaker and an author, which, it's not on here, but I've written a couple of books, Sales Funnel Bible and the Real Estate Investing Copywriter's Playbook. and others. And then the goal is not just to work. No one here wants to necessarily work for the sake of work. You are working because you want something as a reward. And so for me, I love to travel. That's me in Edinburgh last year. And I'm learning to be a pilot. That's me this winter, learning to fly this Cessna. So just wanted to share a bit about me, because the most important thing I want to tell you is that I am just like you. I am a business owner. I have been a business owner, and I have learned that the world is telling you that you have to hustle and grind, and I'm telling you that is not the way you have to do it. You can get more done. And there is a whole group of people that we work with in a FuDog group, and this is just part of our community. And here we all are on the beach in New Jersey. That was an amazing experience. We've got people all over the world, and this is something that I get to share with them, with this community, to say you don't have to fall into the hustle and grind mentality. You can get more done in order to enjoy more of your life. Do me a favor, actually, if you are in Freedom Master Your Legacy, put me in the chat bar. I'd love to know who here is in our community. I think we have a few people. Yeah, that's awesome. Hello, everyone. Oh, Matt and Deb. I didn't see you on my screen here. Great to see you here. Danielle, do me a favor, Danielle. Put what time it is there. Danielle's dialing in from the other side of the world, from Australia. So we're gonna see what. Oh, it's 9:22. Okay, it's a better time. Yeah, that's all right. All right, and then just a couple of things. You already heard Kevin Harrington talk about us, that we've cracked the code. Mike McAllowitz is referencing Mike and the FuDog team being transformative. And then Jay Abraham, the highest paid consultant on earth, talks about FuDog transforming individual enrichment from the inside out. All right, I want to dig into some insights here. I'm going to give you, I think you were promised 6. I'm going to give you way more, and there's going to be lots of actionable stuff. So make sure that you got your pen and paper handy, and we are going to dig in here. I don't want to use purple. Okay. I talked earlier in this training that time is a limited resource. Time is a limited resource. In fact, that's not the only resource we have. Like, being human is all about juggling limited resources, right? You've got resources of, let's say, money, relationships, time, energy, health. Maybe if you think of other resources, put them in the chat bar too. And as humans, our job is to just juggle whatever resources we have, try to work on building maybe more resources, build up more resources like wealth and relationships and that sort of thing. But among those resources, we have time, and time is limited. We do not get more time. I love the analogy that you wake up every morning with $24, each dollar equaling an hour. Let's say $24 in the bank, and you are spending that every day, and you do not get to carry over from one day to the next any money left over. Time is a limited resource, and I would suggest that business owners feel that pain even more than anyone else, because as a business owner, you're not only trying to manage your family and lead your community, but you're also trying to grow a business. And if you have clients and you have family, and they are relying on you to fight for their livelihood, and you need to show up. And so the pressure is on. The stakes are so high as business owners, and you need to get more done. And so the first strategy I want to tell you about is resource awareness. Resource awareness. It is so easy for us to be blind to the resources that we have. In fact, when I gave a list here just a minute ago of the resources that we have available to us, maybe I said something that surprised you, and you thought, oh, I didn't think of that as a resource. I was talking about relationships and wealth and health and energy. These are all resources, and time is a resource. And so the very first strategy that I want to share with you is a resource awareness of time. The resource awareness of time. And I'm going to tell you about something that I avoided doing and then finally did, and it changed my life years ago. So I'd studied productivity, I studied execution, I studied getting more done because I wanted to get more done in my consulting business. And all of my studies were pointing to this one strategy called time tracking. Time tracking. I'll write that down here. Time tracking. And I resisted, time tracking. There we go. I resisted this this strategy for a while. Basically, the strategy is to track your time from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep for a period of time, like weeks, and then analyze what your time was, like how you use it. And I resisted that strategy for a long time because I was like, you know what? I know how I use my time. I don't need to do it. And so I didn't do it and I avoided it. And I kept stumbling over this strategy over and over again. And finally, I'm like, fine, okay, I'm going to do some time tracking. Frustrated and indignant, I decided to track my time. And I have to tell you that it completely changed my life. And I have become like the most vocal proponent for time tracking. If you've never time tracked, I'm going to beg you on this training. Yes, literally, I am begging you to track your time. And if you don't take any other strategy away from here, this one will completely change your life. So I track my time and I analyze my time, and just doing that strategy alone helps me double my income when I was a consultant. I told you that I was trading my hours for dollars. So basically, someone would hire me for a certain number of hours. And so, I only had, let's say, 8 working hours in a day, and I could only fit in so much work. Well, tracking my time gave me such an awareness of my time that it allowed me to double my productivity without doing any other change in my life. And so doubling my productivity meant I doubled my income. Now, time tracking works because, yes, it changes the game. Judy, please do it. I'm calling you out on this training. Please do it. Time tracking works not just because it gives you an awareness of like how you spend your day. More importantly, it gives you awareness of a few different things here. One of those is your energy levels throughout the day. And so I discovered, energy levels throughout the day. I discovered that I wake up in the morning and I am ready to go. I am raring to go, and then my peak time. I start to peak from I get up about 6:30 in the morning, and then I peak at 11 o'clock, and then I decline. So from 6:30 to about 10:30, 11 in the morning, that is amazingly productive time. And then I have lunch. And then after lunch, I'm still pretty good and solid at working, but sometimes you kind of lag a bit, it's warm out, you had a big lunch or whatever. I like to eat bigger meals earlier in the day. And so I start to lag. It doesn't mean I stop working. It just means I adjust my work based on my levels of energy available. So I would do productive, high value, high revenue generating work during my peak time. And then I would do meetings and sort of lower energy work later on. And there's ways you can force that by working out or by hydrating and doing different things. But at the very least, time tracking gives you such an insight into when your peaks and valleys are in terms of energy. Another thing it's going to do is it will shock you about something called switching cost. Switching cost. You see, that's COST. Okay, switching cost. You see, we think we're going to sit down and write an email, and now any business owner here knows what's going to happen. I'm going to describe it to you, and you'll be like, yeah, that happened to me today and yesterday and the day before. So you sit down because you have to write an email to someone. And what happens? All of a sudden, beep, beep, your phone rings or your phone buzzes. There's something on your phone. And then you have to go, and then you're like, a team member says, oh, I need you to help me with something. And you go do that. And then you remember, oh, I forgot to invoice this client and we need the money. So you run and do the invoice. And then something else happens. And then your team member reaches out to you again. Switching. You're constantly switching from one thing to another. And there is a mental load, a mental cost to that. And you can reach the end of your day and your email is still open on your computer and the cursor is still blinking on the first line because you didn't write a single word. And yet you can look at your task list, like, what did I do all day? I didn't cross anything off. I didn't get this one email done. Well, you got a lot done, but there was a switching cost. There was a cost of going from one thing to another and then off to another thing. And each time you switch from one project to another, from your email to your interruption, and then your interruption to the thing your team member needs, there is this cost, this energy cost, this mental load that keeps you from staying productive at a peak level. So time tracking helps to reveal that. Here is how to time track. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna do action steps, and I'm gonna show you step by step how to do it. So number one, okay, step one is to go like went to Staples and bought like a notebook for, I don't know, $2 or something like this. This little notebook here, spiral bound, it has 80 pages in it, lined. Like, keep it real simple. Keep it real simple. So number one is get a notebook. Let's do action steps here. Number one is get a notebook. All right. Number two is write the date at the top of your page. Write the date at the top of your page. Those of you who have done time tracking exercises with me in the past know that I keep it super simple. We actually do time tracking challenges sometimes in our community, in the legacy community, for example. We used to require our legacy members to do time tracking before they joined or when they first joined. Mike, we should maybe think about going back to that. It was so valuable. Number three, so you're writing the date at the top of the page. Number three is divide the day into 15-minute increments. 15-minute increments. All right, so let's say you get up at 6 in the morning. So you write 6 to 6:15, and then the second line says 6:15 to 6:30. The third line is 6:30 to 6:45, and the fourth line is 6:45 to 7. Yeah, that's a lot of work. I get it. Trust me, you will be so glad you did. So you're going to divide each day into 15-minute increments. Step 4, and it might take 2 pages. I can't remember how many lines are on here, so you might be spreading over 2 pages, but that's fine. Step 4 is record what you did. Record what you did. So if you write everything out, the date, the 15 minutes, the night before, you get up in the morning and you just write out what you did. So 6 to 6:15, ate breakfast. 6:15 to 6:30, brush my teeth, comb my hair, and took the dog for a walk or something like that. Whatever. Just make a list all the way down, everything you did. And then here's where the magic happens. Is step 5 is assess. All right, I like to assess with a green highlighter and a red highlighter, so each page looks like Christmas by the time I'm done. And all I do is I looked at, okay, I got up and did I do in this 15 minutes, was I focused and got it done? Green, yes I did. Or red, no I didn't. So let's say at 8 o'clock in the morning, you go to write that email, and then you ended up being pulled away on that thing that team member called you about, or the invoice you forgot to do. That's a red because you wanted to do the email and you didn't. The bad news is the first week you do this, you're going to notice all kinds of red on here. But I would love for you to consider doing this for 2 weeks, at least 2 weeks. I find doing it for a week doesn't give you as full of a picture because often our lives have an anomaly in it and we don't get a great picture of it. But if you do it for 2 weeks or longer, then you're going to have a great sense of like how you spend your time, when the peaks and valleys are, when you are being pulled away. You're going to notice so much insight from this. You're going to notice at 3 o'clock every day, you needed a nap. You're going to notice that at 6 o'clock every evening, your blood sugar dropped and you needed to eat something, and you ended up going to the snack cupboard and getting, chips or candy. You're going to notice that at 11 o'clock every day, your team disappeared and you didn't know where they went. And you can investigate that. Oh, actually, maybe they went on a long lunch, or maybe they're in a different time zone. You're getting so much insight for doing this time tracking. Okay, we've got Danielle saying she is in. Judy, she's going to commit to that too. I hope everyone else here is going to. I'm going to move on from this strategy. It is a life-changing strategy. I resisted it for so long, and now I am all in on it, and I do it a couple times a year. So thank you. Good. Do that. And if you're in our community, I would challenge you. This is optional, but if you're in our FuDog community, like Freedom Tribe Master Your Legacy, why not do one, take a picture, and post it in FuDog World if you are brave enough. But share your insights too. All right, that was great. So I was going to ask who here got some insight from that first strategy, but I'm seeing some people saying they're in. Why don't you put in the chat bar, what's one big takeaway you got from strategy number 1, resource awareness? I'm going to take a little drink. I'm going to see someone typing. How to do it, but I possibly have a lot of wasted time. Yes, Mary. Well, let's not say wasted time. Let's reframe it as you have an opportunity to become even more efficient. Michael says a reminder of the timesheet for tracking. Yes, Michael. Maybe we should do a momentum call for 90 days or something about tracking. Art says he's a visual learner. The red green is big for him. Good. Jennifer says great to redo it. Yeah. Me teaching this has got me so excited about doing it again. Okay. Are you guys ready for strategy number 2? You guys ready? Put number 2 in the chat bar. If you're ready for strategy number 2. Okay, very good. Coming up here. This one's a big one. I'm actually breaking it up over a couple of slides. So strategy number 2 is a little something that, I almost wrote with my highlighters. Let me move those out of the way here so that I'm not doing anything crazy on my tablet. Strategy number 2. Oh, I'm excited about this. I hope you are too. I call it the FuDog execution system. The FuDog execution system. And I'm going to put a little TM there for fun, because I think it is a powerful tool. And those of you who are in our community and are looking to write a book in the future, this is the book I'm going to be working on, is the FuDog execution system. So you're hearing it first. You're hearing it first from me. So the FuDog execution system is the execution system that I've built over the years with the help of Mike and Jennifer to help us execute. It's what I learned as a consultant, as a business owner, rolling up my sleeves, working those late nights at the kitchen table, and then going on to help other people in our FuDog community to help them learn to execute as well. And it is in 3 parts. And I would consider this the operating system of your day, the operating system of your day. And this is going to help you to not just manage your time, but get more done. At the beginning of this masterclass, we promise that you will get more done in 1 week than most people do in 3 months. It's the FuDog execution system that is really the engine, the operating system that will help you do that. And so I'm going to explain it over the next couple of pages, and it's really I'm going to say it's simple. Now, someone looking at it at first glance is going to say it's simplistic, but it's not simplistic. It's simple, and it is scalable, and it is complete. And it's important for you to know those 3 things. That, yes, it's only 3 parts, but it's simple because you don't need more. It's scalable because it can work for one person, it can work for a family, it can work for a business, and it's complete, meaning that you don't need anything more than what we've got here. This will do the work. And you might ask me, as people often do when I'm teaching about productivity, about execution, people ask, well, what software system are you using for this? I'm going to tell you that the software system does not matter. Software system does not matter. In fact, I'm going to tell you some of the software that I use, but I also use note paper. Mike and I each build FuDog group with like paper. And the software, it changes, so don't get stuck on the software. Get stuck on building the FuDog execution system for your life. So the first part of the FuDog execution system, I call it the universal list. The universal list. And here is this first step is basically creating a list of everything that you want to achieve. And when I say everything, I'm going to get in real close here to the camera. I'm going to say everything you want to achieve. You see, our brains were not built for long-term storage, but we use them that way all the time. And I hope all of you are looking for the mind-blowing emoji by me dropping that little truth bomb. We try to hold thoughts in our head all the time. We're like, okay, I have to go to the dentist. Okay, I gotta stop and get milk on the way home. I gotta go watch, my kids' recital. I gotta go get that report in for for the team or something. And we try to hold that in our head, or maybe we keep it on scraps of paper around our office or Post-it notes in our car. In fact, just the other day, I broke this system accidentally. I had made a little list. I was helping my parents with something, and I put the list on the door. And I was like, okay, I got to remember to grab this list on the way out. I wasn't even following my own system here this one day. And what did I do? I forgot the list, because our brains are not built for long-term storage of facts. All right, our brains are built to to operate our day, to think, to react, to connect, to communicate. And the more clutter we have in our brains about like, okay, I gotta remember to go to the dentist. Oh, I gotta file that paper. The more we have of that, the more cluttered it gets, the more we forget, the less effective we are to manage our day-to-day. It's kind of like your desk. Like I can't show you here now, but you might see on Facebook, I took a picture of it. I have a clear desk. I've got my water. I've got my tablet that I'm using to teach. I've got my laptop, and it is clear. That's all I've got. But if you think of your day kind of like that, your brain is kind of like that. But then what happens over time? You're like, you think, okay, I got to go to the dentist. So that becomes a note on here. And then you're like, oh, I got to run to my kid's recital. Then that goes here. I have to return library books, and that goes here. And soon you keep adding all these stacks of paper to your brain. It becomes cluttered and you can't find anything. Danielle says her desk is not clear. Danielle, this will help you clear your desk. Create a universal list. And this is basically a list of everything in your life that you want to do, that you want to think about, that you want to buy, that you need to connect with someone about, that you need to delegate. A big list. Here are the columns in my list. I use software for this. I have used software like ClickUp in the past. I don't love it. I don't recommend it anymore, but ClickUp is one I used in the past. I've used things like Airtable and SmartSuite, which are kind of like spreadsheets. You could do this in an Excel spreadsheet or a Google sheet. You could even do this on a piece of paper. But I like having a piece of software for my universal list. And so you have a bunch of columns here. Now let's see if I can fit all these columns across here. The first column is, let's just call it the task. might be the item, it might be your, idea or whatever. This is the task. All right. That's the first column. The second column is due, when it is due. This is the final due date of when it needs to be done. Third column is next action. Next action. All right. Fourth column is who. I'll give you some examples here in a minute. I just want to get all the columns out. The fifth column is when. And then the sixth column is notes. And then if you're doing this in software, you might add a seventh column where you attach files or attach, images and that kind of thing. I do this in software, so I do have a seventh column of attachments. And so that's why I like using software, because I can attach things. But at the very least, you want these 6 columns. And so all you need to do is every time you have a thought, every time you have an idea, every time you have something you want to buy, something you need to talk to someone about, it goes here. So your task is maybe, you have to go to the dentist. When do you have to go to the dentist? Such and such a day. What's the next action? Well, I have to call and book an appointment. So call the dentist. Who? Me. I need to do it. When do I have to do it? Well, obviously you have to do it before the due date. So, tomorrow or whatever, right? You give the date there. And then any notes. Here's the dentist number. Here's my health insurance, if you have dental insurance, that kind of thing, whatever. All right, that's for the dentist. Okay, now I have to go to my kid's recital. When is it due? When is it due, right? What's the next action? Find out where the recital is being held. Who needs to do it? I need to do it. When, and then any notes, all right? Maybe put in a map if the recital is somewhere you're not used to. All right, another task. I need to build a landing page. When is that due? It's due such and such a day. What's the next action? Brainstorm the landing page. Who needs to do it? It's not always going to be you. It could be a team member. The team member. When does the team member need to do this next action? I want them to get me a wireframe by tomorrow afternoon, right? And then notes. Here's the info about the landing page. Put everything in there. I have this, and I have thousands of things in here. Thousands of things. And that might seem overwhelming, but the key is that I'm just sorting by when things are due. And so I know what's coming up. I can see what's coming up. And that is like that. You just sort it. You can see what's coming up. It's very easy. And then I can also go in and check on, let me get a different color here to show you. Then you go and you look, so let's say it's past due, coming up past the due date. You're like, I should check on the person who's going to work on this. Did they work on it? I should check on this. When's that going to be done? So you can manage anyone you are delegating to. All right, so that's the first part of the FuDog execution system is the universal list. Put everything on it. I have thousands of things on it. It makes things easy. It combines your life and your business, because let's be honest, all business owners here are juggling that life and business. At FuDog, we say that life and business aren't separate. In fact, your business is just part of your life. So keep it all in one list, unless it makes sense to have, for example, like you've got maybe team members who need to access the list. But for the most part, just keep it all on one list for you, and then you can manage it. So that's the first step, is the universal list. All right, let's go on to the next part. Well, let me pause here. What are some insights you have about the universal list? Let me pause and see. What's a big insight or takeaway you have on your universal list? All right, due dates, yes. Good. And Mary, you'll notice I technically have 2 due dates on my universal list. One is the ultimate due date of the project or the task, right? And then one is kind of like the next action due date. And what I do often, I'm just reading some of the list, everything. I got to use it. Good. What I often do is, let's say I've got this task. Let's use the landing page example here. That's a good example. So you got landing page. I'm going to just make a little acronym here. Landing page. and you've got the due date of, let's say, June 30th. And then the first next action coming up is, wireframe. I'm going to say wireframe, and then, who in your team, let's just say it's person A, and then we want that done by the 6th. And then you can always swap out these 3 things. You can update them. Let's say they get done. You can replace them with what happens after a wireframe. Maybe the first draft. So I'm gonna do FD for first draft, but it's gonna be done by person B, and I'm gonna want to see it by the 10th. All right. So you can just update this next actions, who and when. So you've got the main due date here, and you've got kind of a mini due date here, and these build up toward the end of your project. Okay. Thank you for you reminded me that I wanted to talk about that, Mary. So thank you for that. And I'm seeing some good insight here. Danielle says I was supposed to do that. Use the list. Main and mini due dates. Yes, Judy, list everything. List absolutely everything. The more you list on your list, the less you are going to have to think about it and worry about it and lose sleep over it and so on. All right. Let's go on to the second part of the FuDog execution system. So this is another strategy, but we've got the FuDog execution system, which is, this is strategy 2. So we've done 2.1. Let's go to 2.2, let's call it. All right. So we're still in the FuDog execution system, and now we're at part 2. And this I call the momentum cadence. Momentum cadence. So the first part of the FuDog execution system was the universal list. The second part is momentum cadence. It is a cadence to create momentum. A cadence to create momentum. All right. What I'm about to share shouldn't come as a big surprise in terms of the timing, but I think you may be surprised or find some insight in what we do at each step. And this is something we do at FuDog Group. I'm not just sharing some crazy thing I invented when I was a consultant. So I developed it then, but we use this all the time in FuDog Group. So we are sharing with you right now, like the secret sauce behind the scenes of what we do. Okay, so how to build a momentum cadence. This is basically how often do you need to review your universal list, and what do you need to review in your universal list? All right, so you're going to review annually, quarterly, and I'll tell you what to review because you're not reviewing your entire list at each time. I'm sharing with you the timing here: annually, quarterly, monthly, weekly, and daily. Weekly and daily. All right. So these are kind of the 5 time frames, the 5 cadences, if you will, of how to review. But it's not just reviewing your entire universal list each of these 5 times, because that's too much. What you need to do is, when you review annually, all you're looking for is just comparing what's coming up in the year to your vision. You're going to create a vision for the year. You're going to look at your universal list. Do they match? Does everything in the year, the due date of the year in my universal list, match my vision? If yes, great. If no, put it off for another year. Chances are you're also going to create stuff in your vision you need to put onto your universal list. So that's the first one. You're just looking at your vision and comparing it to your universal list. Second time frame is quarterly. And here you're going to want to look at 5 things. The first is alignment. So are you aligned? Like, does this task, does this project, alignment. does this task or this project align with where you want to go right now? And I can tell you, Mike and I actually just went through this the other day. I know it's not quarterly, but we just went through this the other day. We're doing a monthly one, and we're like, you know what? We're gonna move this off to a different quarter. Like this was a plan a quarter ago. This made sense. Now it doesn't make sense. Let's move it off. So you want to look for alignment. Second thing you want to do is look for priorities. So is this still aligned with what we want? And is this still a priority? Third thing is clarity. How clear are we on this project? How clear are we on this task? I'll talk more about that in a few minutes. Fourth thing is resource availability. I'll just put AVAIL. This is, you know, do we have the team members who can help get this done? Or do we have the money to invest in this thing, right? Do we have the equipment, the technology, the software that will allow us to do this? It doesn't mean that you're not going to do it. It means you gotta, you know, scale up the different pieces that you need in order to execute on this. And then the fifth thing you need to look at is then you just need to time block. All right, time block. So you're looking at your quarter and you're like, oh, okay, this project's coming due here, this project's coming due here, this project's coming due here. And we have a calendar at FuDog Group, and we will block out upcoming items like events, things that we're learning, things we want to do, all gets blocked on the calendar. And then we're able to see the gaps in between. And we use these 5 things. We look at those quarterly, monthly, and weekly. Quarterly, monthly, and weekly. So I'll give you an example. When the month starts, in fact, I just referenced this a minute ago. June just started a couple days ago. And we went through this review and we looked at, are we aligned? What is our priorities? What are we clear or unclear on? Where are our resources available or not available? And then we blocked out the time. We did that monthly, and then we do it weekly as well. All right. Let me pause here for a second. I'm throwing a lot at you guys. First of all, how are you doing? Are you getting a lot of insight? Let me pause and just see. Give me Art says it's fine. Art, how can I make it more than fine, man? Okay. Oh, good. Danielle says it's awesome. Matt and Deb say it's insight. Michael gives me a boom. That's awesome. Okay, that's great. All right, sit up for a second, everyone. Just sit right up. I got we're plugging away here. We're doing great on time, but I want to make sure that you guys are focused and you're learning, and I'm throwing so much at you. So I want to I just want to make sure everyone here is all in. Okay. Good. Oh, April says this is huge. That's awesome. Mary, this will help out a lot. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, great. So let's continue on then with the momentum cadence. We talked annually. I gave you the 5 things you need to look at quarterly, monthly, and weekly, and then daily. Daily is the last piece here, and here I'm looking at just a couple of things. And I'm going to show you an example in a minute here. I'm not just kind of writing all stuff down that is theoretical. I'm going to literally show you what I do, and you're going to see how this all plays out in real life in FuDog Group. So in daily, I'm looking at 3 things. I'm looking at my time/effort. I am prioritizing, priorities, and priorities, and I am time blocking. All right. Do you guys want to see my schedule for today? Put yes in the chat bar if you do, because I would like to show you, like, this is all theory until you see it in practice. So I'm going to show you here. All right. Oops, I grabbed the wrong one. Oh, here it is. Okay. Don't worry, anybody who's sweating right now, there's no like, super sensitive stuff on here that will, like, oh my goodness, what is he sharing? So no, nothing like that. So I told you already that the universal list, part 1 of the FuDog execution system, is software, but it goes on paper for me. When I am getting ready for my week, I write it out in paper. So as I'm doing this alignment, priority, clarity, resource availability, time blocking, I put it into a notebook. Same kind of notebook that I do my time tracking. I got a bulk deal at Staples, so same notebook, or same kind of notebook. At the very top, can you guys see this? Put a thumbs up if you can see this, because I know I'm sharing my screen, so you have to squint in. Okay. At the very top, I have the date. I have Wednesday, and then I write my dates weird, not like Americans. But here's the date, 2024-06-05. That's today. Over here, I have a list, and in the top left corner of the page, I have a list of the timed events that I have. So I had a meeting earlier today with an attorney, and so that meeting was right here. I crossed it off, and then I have, oh, look at this, the masterclass. It's happening right now. I even colored it, I highlighted it yellow because it's happening now. Down here in the bottom left, I have everything I'm waiting on. So things that I'm waiting on, they're not actionable. I just need to wait on them and maybe check on them later in the day. And so I had a couple things here. We had to make a correction on a landing page. So I put that on there, and I was waiting for the attorney that I had a meeting for. I was waiting for a form back from her. And so these two things were on there. Now, if I got to the end of the day and they were still on there, I'd carry them over the next day, but I might look into them and see why they weren't done. But they're both done. I crossed them off. On the left side, or sorry, on the right side of my paper, it's left from here. On the right side of my paper, I just make a list of everything I need to do. I make a list of everything. Basically, I'm pulling it off of my universal list, due date today. And I make a list right here. And as you can see, I've crossed off most of the things because it's near the end of the day. There's still a couple of things I have to do. I got to work on a theme image for this week. I'm not going to go through all the details. What I want to tell you, though, is I'm going to hold this up real close. Is right here are a couple of numbers. It might be hard to see because there's a bit of a glare. But one beside one of my tasks says 051. And beside the other task, it says 15-2. What that means, so I'm going to write that in chat here. One of my tasks, I put 051, and then another one I put 15-2. Okay, what does that mean? That is my time/effort. Let me circle this. My time effort measurement. So when I make my list, I look at everything in my list that I have to do, and I say, how long is that going to take me? 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour, and so on. And what's the energy level it's going to require of me? 1, 2, or 3? Like 3 is a lot of energy. 3 is like, I'm trying to think of 3. But anyway, 1 is like, it's going to be real simple. I can knock it out in a minute and not think about it, right? 2 takes some work. Maybe there's something challenging. There's a little bit of effort involved. And 3 is really, it's a slog. It's really hard emotionally. It's challenging. And so I rank everything here with the time, however long it takes, and then a 1, 2, or 3 in energy. Now, why do I do that? First thing is time. Guess what? All business owners here probably have more than 24 hours worth of work in their day, right? So this helps me realize that, like, oh, you know what? I did not, I put 24 hours of work in here. I didn't factor in that I need to sleep and eat. So yeah, April says yes. Dear Lord, yes. So doing that helps me. It helps me as well because I'm like, okay, I have 15 minutes for this task. All right, I can do this in 15 minutes. Then the other reason this helps is that with energy, I know this is going to take a lot of energy. So I better fuel up. I better make sure I am hydrated. I better make sure I'm pumped up for a level 3 project versus a level 1 project. It's only 1 energy. I can knock it out. And so what I love to do, this is just my personal thing, but what I love to do is I wake up in the morning and I look at all my 0.05 ones, right? It takes 5 minutes. It's a low energy. Those are quick wins. And I knock out a whole bunch of those before the first half hour of my day, before my coffee's cool enough to drink. And it is a quick win for me. And it feels great to start my day. Karen says she can't hear anything. Oh, she got it. Okay. Oops, I'm having some muting problems here too. All right. So let me pause here with the momentum cadence. Tell me, what is a big takeaway from the momentum cadence part of the FuDog execution system? What's a big takeaway that you got from this? Let me throw it in the chat bar. Time, effort. Yes, Matt, time, effort. I think for you especially, Matt, I know from our conversations, I think you'd benefit from that, and sharing with your team as well. Divide and conquer. Guard your own energy. Yes, April, that's great. It will take practice. It will, Danielle. It will. You know, doing anything new will take practice, but if you can remember to do it and remind yourself to do it, then you'll see the benefits and it'll become that much easier. Time blocking and time blocking. Yeah, that's good. I think it's great for you to see that we run FuDog Group and our partner companies and my team, and I run my life with a simple software and a piece of paper. And Mike does something similar. So, Karen, how can I join the next class? Megan is our client concierge, and she will help you. She can message you and tell you. So welcome, Karen. So that is the second part of the FuDog execution system. Let's go now to the third part, the third and final part of the FuDog execution system, and that is so that's part three. Part three of the FuDog execution system, and that is the execution engine. The execution engine. All right, and here it's just all about getting stuff done. Getting stuff done. So these are my strategies to get stuff done. You've got your list. We already talked about it. I showed you what the list looks like. Now you just need to show up. So these are the strategies for the execution engine. Number one is show up. So wake up in the morning, show up to your desk, and get stuff done. Number two is work to the allotted time. Work, I'm not writing in all the sentences here, all the letters, the words of the sentence, but work to the allotted time. Work to the allotted time. If you assigned yourself 15 minutes to do a level 2 project, work 15 minutes on it. If you didn't get it done, you know, maybe you need to reassess how you do it. Maybe you need to do time tracking to understand, did you get distracted? Maybe you need to schedule a bit more later. That's okay, but work to the allotted time. Number three is laser focus. I'm going to talk more about that in a minute. Laser focus. Number four is do the work. If it was Mike teaching this, he would say, do the effing work, do the effing work, or something else. But it's me. I'm just going to say, do the work. I'll keep it family friendly for all of us. Do the work. And what that means is you come into your list and you just start and you do the work. There's no substitute for doing the work. Then number five is cross things off. Cross off. Why should you cross things off? You see, I use a big stinky Sharpie marker to do that. Simple reason, because look, we could get a dopamine hit from being distracted by when our phone rings and looking at our phone, or we can get a dopamine hit from crossing off a thing that we did successfully. And since I'm focused on execution, I'd rather get my dopamine from crossing things off than from being distracted. So find the biggest, stinkiest Sharpie marker you can find and cross things off your list and feel so good about it. Yes, it is therapeutic. All right. I'm moving pretty quick here through the execution engine. There's other pieces to the FuDog execution system. I have got like I've got like this productivity algorithm. There's a bunch of stuff that we'll share with members. For the sake of time, I want to keep moving. I want to make sure you have good value though. So do me a favor, in the chat bar for this part of it, FuDog execution system, type in a big insight, a big takeaway that you have. I'm gonna get a drink here. We're making great time. We're doing great time. The 5 steps. Judy says, do the work. I love it. All right. Very good. Are you guys good to keep going? I've got 3 more strategies I want to share with you, but I need to know if you are good to keep going. Give me a thumbs up if you are. Okay, I got 1 thumb up from our team member. Okay, I'm hoping. Oh, there. Thank you, Art and Judy. Okay. Whew. Okay, good. Like I need to know beyond the team members. Team members are good to go, but okay, everyone else, a couple of you are good. We're going to finish here in let's see, I was gonna say 6:30, but I'm in a different time zone. 8:30 Eastern. So we are right on track to finish in about 20 minutes. So stay strong, stay motivated. Look inside and grab some energy, because it's a choice to be as energized as you are, to show up with energy. It is a choice. So reach inside, grab some energy. Let's move on to the next slide here. All right. We've talked about the FuDog execution system, which is really I call it like the operating system of your day. Now I want to give you a 3-part way to think about productivity and think about execution. All right, so I'm going to draw a triangle here. I'm going to share 3 strategies, 1 side for each part of the triangle. Simple triangle. And I'm going to share 3 strategies that work together on this diagram, and you can use them to help you approach your execution, approach your productivity, and get more done. All right, so the first thing I want to talk about is clarity. Michael was referring to this earlier, and I got to tell you that if any of you get a chance, those of you in our FuDog community get a chance to work with Michael. Michael is our director of coaching. He does accountability and mindset coaching. He's a master at accountability and mindset. And one thing that he is always so good at driving people to do is clarity. And in fact, clarity is key. He was talking about clarity earlier up in the chat bar, and it was a great reminder of how good he is on clarity. And so I've been excited to get to this part. I know his ears perked up. So there are 3 parts to getting stuff done, and one part here is clarity. So clarity, as Michael said, clarity is key. You need to know who is doing the work. You remember in the universal list, you had the who column. Who is going to do this next action? You need to know when it's going to happen. And it can't just be next week, maybe next quarter. Like it should be, just to borrow a name from here, it should be like Art is going to do this next action by 6 p.m. on June 8th, for example, right? Just to pick a new Art. Thank you for being the person I could pick on in the moment. And then the clarity around next action. The clearer you are, the more you will get done. You need to be specific. Why do I keep hammering on this? We blame a lot of inactivity and inefficiency on procrastination, but I can tell you that procrastination, now sometimes there's other reasons for it, but a lot of procrastination is really a lack of clarity. A lot of procrastination is really a lack of clarity. That we go to work on a task, we go to work on a project, and we don't have enough clarity on our project, and so we do something else that we feel clearer about. When you have ultimate clarity, it is easier to get things done. And so a great example is one I had heard a while ago. They said, let's say you want to schedule an appointment for your dentist. All right. And so you put down as the next action, schedule an appointment for the dentist. Guess what? That's not even clear enough. The next action is get my dentist's phone number. That's how clear you need to be, because like your next action, it needs to be so specific. Jocelyn says, feeling a little attacked on procrastination. Well, not all procrastination is a lack of clarity, but a big part of procrastination is a lack of clarity. And so a great reminder for us, if we remember and are triggered to think of it, if you find yourself procrastinating, look at the task you were supposed to do and ask yourself, how can I get clearer? All right. So clarity. Give me an insight, a takeaway, an aha about this strategy, about the clarity strategy. Give me something in the chat bar. If you find yourself procrastinating, oops, oh, I'm getting some emojis here. There we go. If you find yourself procrastinating, ask yourself, how can I get more clarity? I need to be direct, be specific. Yes. I don't know that there is a level of clarity that is too much clarity. I feel like it's one of those things, maybe Michael can disagree with me, but I feel like there's always an opportunity to be clearer. Okay, so that's the first, it's not the first strategy, that's the first strategy of this triangle, this sort of approach to thinking about productivity, is to get clearer, the second one is focus. When I went on my journey to learn to be more productive, to learn to execute more, I became a student of focus, and I discovered that focus is a superpower. And if you don't write anything else on your notes, write down focus is a superpower. And you have the ability to harness that superpower and get laser focused on your work. Focus is a superpower. And so how can we get more focused? The first one is turn off notifications. I'm sure this will hurt all business owners to say this, because we need to have our email, and we need to have what's happening on social media, what if our team has to get us, but turn off notifications. My recommendation, hang on a second, there we go. My recommendation is, when you go to work on this project that is 15:2, set your timer for 15 minutes, turn off your notifications, and stay focused for 15 minutes. Then turn your notifications back on. I'm not saying turn your notifications off all day long. Turn it off for this project. Not all projects need to have that level of focus, but if you want to get stuff done, turn off your notifications. Jennifer says, the only noise my phone makes is for texts or phone calls. I can't have all the distractions. Me too. In fact, Jennifer, I had to leave my phone volume on today because I was expecting a call, but then I was on a call with Mike and a couple other people earlier today, and my phone is binging away like crazy, and I was like, oh my goodness, I can't handle this. It's not good. So turn off those notifications, even for a season, even for like a sprint, for a tiny moment of focus, so that you can work on a specific project. Set a timer, turn off your notifications, stay focused on that project. The second piece about focus is no switching. So a great thing here is that timer again. If you set your timer for 15 minutes for a 15-minute task, turn off your notifications, and then do that task. Do not switch. No switching. I mentioned earlier, there's a cost to changing things. There's a load cost, or like this mental load on your mind of this cost when you're trying to switch from one task to another. So no switching. Third thing about focus, this is something we do at FuDog Group, and I love it. We didn't do it at first, and then we implemented it, and I noticed a change right away. You can take this into your families, into your organizations, into your communities, into your businesses, implement it, and it will change the game and allow you to stay more focused. And we call it level 135. Level 135. I'm going to do this here. Level 135. And basically, it is a 3-part scale. And if someone comes up to you and they want to ask you something, the first thing they say, the first thing out of their mouth is, I've got a level 1 for you, or I've got a level 5 for you. And all you need to do then is let them know this is a great time to hear that or not. So level 1s are just like, hey, I just want to chat about the day. I just want to see how your day is going. Are you going to the game tonight? What did you think of the weather? That's a level 1. Level 3 is like, hey, here's something that's somewhat important. It's not urgent. I'd love to hear a reply back by the end of the day. And level 5 is like, I'm on fire right now, and so are you, and we should do something about that immediately. All right, maybe not the fire one is a good example, but I think Mike gives a great example when he implemented this in Gold Medal, his plumbing and HVAC company. That level 5 was like if there's a financial issue, like a money issue or a client issue, that was a level 5. So we implemented this in FuDog Group, and it was a game changer for our team because as a co-founder, I would be working away and I'd hear someone, hey, Aaron, I need some help on this thing. I need some help on that. What's your insight on this? And I didn't understand if it was that urgent or not. And so I would leave what I was doing. I would switch my task and I would work on whatever they're doing. And I ended up being like basically pulled into everything in the day. So we implemented levels 1 through 5. Now people like level 1, hey, I just want to know what's everyone doing for the weekend. Level 3, hey, I've got this a question from one of our members. They're just curious about something and I can't help them. I wonder if you can. Level 5, like we had a level 5 situation that not that long ago where we found someone, a scammer had scammed our credit card, and we jumped on it and we handled it. It's being handled, but that was a great example of a level 5. So implement that with your team. Make sure that's the first thing that out of their mouths, or the first thing in their email or their text. It is a game changer, and it will help you focus. Because if you're working and you're like, this is not a level 5, I can keep working. Oh, it is a level 5? Then it was worth dropping my work and going to help them. All right, last thing about focus is something I like to call a distraction note. Distraction note. And that is, I said you shouldn't keep clutter on your desk, but if you're going to focus, then having a little piece of paper on your desk, you can even write the word distraction note at the top. And all you're going to do is when you're trying to focus, you're working on a project for 15 minutes, your timer's on, your notifications are off, and you've got this little piece of paper. And what do you put on this piece of paper? Anything you're thinking about that is not related to the task. It's a distraction note. And so all you're doing is you're taking whatever's in your brain not related to the task, and you're putting it in like a holding zone, a parking lot until later. So that if you're working on, let's say that landing page I used as an example earlier, you got to build a landing page. So you got to write some copy for it. While you're writing that copy, you're like, oh, I got to, buy milk on the way home. Put it on the distraction note. You're writing a bit more copy. I got to check on the team member on how they're doing with that other project. Put it on the distraction note. Every time you do something, you're thinking of something that's not your task at hand, put it on the distraction note. Then when you're done, you've got a list of things you need to think about, but not while you're working on your focus item. Last part. Oh, let me pause here. I know I'm talking a lot, throwing a lot at you. I would love to get insight on the focus part of this triangle. What is a big takeaway or an action item that you have from learning how to focus more effectively? No switching. Yes, that's so hard for business owners. What helps is the 1 through 5. Yeah, no switching and distraction note. Yeah, very good. Good. Okay. Last part of this triangle, of this execution triangle, is certainty. So we had clarity, we had focus, and now the last part of getting more done is certainty. Certainty is the belief that it will be done. The belief that you can get it done. The belief that you execute and are focused and are clear and you will get more done. Certainty. So what helps create certainty? The first one is, and this is a word no one likes, this is a term that no one likes to hear, personal responsibility. I know we might say we live in a world where people want less and less of this, but as business owners, we've somehow stumbled into the situation where we get more and more of it. Personal responsibility. This is where you're like, you know what? I have a team. Their livelihood depends on me getting my work done. I am not going to set aside until I am finished. I am going to review my universal list. I am going to be focused. I am going to be clear. Certainty starts with personal responsibility, with knowing that it depends on you. All right, the second part of certainty is a vision for the day. A vision for the day. This is where you are, like, you get up in the morning and maybe even before you get out of bed, you're like, okay, I'm going to have an amazing day of execution. I'm going to get so much done. Maybe you get to your desk, you made yourself your coffee or whatever, and you're thinking about your day. You look at your list and you're like, I am going to have, you can see yourself saying, okay, I'm going to have an amazing day, crossing these things off. You have a vision of execution for your day. And then the third thing is, and I think this is one that maybe most people don't realize, and hopefully it's a mind-blowing opportunity for you. It is also a game-changing opportunity for your productivity. And it is an identity shift of someone who executes. I can't tell you how many people I talk to and they're like, you know what? I'm a procrastinator. You know what? I don't get a lot done because I get a lot of distractions. You know what? I can't do this because of, such and such a reason. I've got these reasons why I can't get more done. I've got kids underfoot, or I've got, I don't know. I've got all these different things that are holding me back from getting more done. But that becomes your identity. That becomes your identity. And it becomes a reason why you can't do something. So I say, if you want to have certainty, have an identity shift of someone who gets stuff done. Now, if you can't do things because you've got kids underfoot, or because you've got, some other reason why you typically don't get things done, then your identity shift needs to be not just, I'm someone who gets stuff done. It's, I'm someone who gets stuff done in spite of this circumstance that might hold any normal person back, but I'm not any normal person. So that you need to shift your identity by believing that you can get more done in spite of the thing that might hold someone else back. We talk about identity shifts all the time in FuDog Group. It's one of my favorite things. We don't have time to talk about those here. If you're ever interested, we have trainings on identity shifting, and it's really powerful. It all starts with a belief in yourself, and a belief that the person that you want to be is the person that you are now. And like, by saying, okay, I am a person who gets things done in spite of the circumstances, and just adopting that for yourself. I'm simplifying for the sake of time, but it starts with an identity shift to create certainty. All right. So we've got clarity, focus, and certainty. For the certainty part, what is the biggest takeaway that you have so far in this part of the triangle? For certainty, type in your insight, type in your big takeaway in the chat bar. Vision for the day, identity shift. Yes, Judy, that's great. Identity shift, Mary. Awesome. Gonna take a quick drink here. Okay. We have reached the very end. And I'm going to just do a quick summary to share with you the journey we've been on. I've shared with you a whole bunch of strategies about how to get more done. So coming up here, it starts with resource awareness. Do time tracking, and I gave you the steps. Then it's the FuDog execution system, a 3-part execution system that is the daily operating system for your, or like the operating system for your day. And part 1 of the FuDog execution system is your universal list. Part 2 is a momentum cadence. And part 3 is this execution engine. And then finally, I gave you a way to think about execution that includes clarity, focus, and certainty. These are like puzzle pieces. And when you have a task, when you have a project, when you have a list of stuff to do in your day, make sure you have clarity, focus, and certainty, and you will get more done. All right, I've given you a lot. I would love, so kind of go back in your notes as we wrap up here and give me the one action item that you are going to implement right away. So I've given you a lot of action items. I've given you a lot of steps and ideas. Let's get a list here of those huge action items. It's going to be a resource for all of us. When you guys type in, you're contributing to this whole community about the best action item that you're taking away. We got timesheet, time tracking, universal list. I need notebooks. Yeah. Download app and tracking software. Action item. Everyone bitching about time should watch this. That's great. Universal list. I'm going to modify my spreadsheets to execution system. Love it, Art. Love it. Good. Oh, this was great. Wow, I am so excited. You guys, this was an amazing experience. I love sharing this with you. All of this has been life-changing for me. And my goal is not just to help you get more done, because like what's the point of just like working even longer hours, right? My goal is to help you get more of the right things done in less time so that you can do more things that you love. And I shared earlier, I love to travel. I'm learning to be a pilot. There's all these different things that I love. And and those of you who are business owners, as you're growing, don't forget, we've got something to fill your time. All that newfound time you have is the Business Rebels and Renegades Scaling Bootcamp. Megan, if you could throw the link in there one more time, and the coupon code. So for those of you who joined a little bit later, this is a training. It's 4 days, 4 Thursdays, plus actually a bonus Tuesday that's not on this image. It's in July. It is about how to grow and scale your business with some powerful strategies. Mike, my business partner, is teaching it. I'll be teaching it. And there, Megan just put in the chat bar the link and even a 10% off promo code. So use that now. Use it while you can before the promo code goes away. And I can't wait for you guys to share with me how much more you are getting done in your day. Thank you very much, everyone. Have an amazing day. Thank you for spending it here with us.